Hey, Lissie, you wanna go? Yeah? To the mines?
No trespassing for traitors.
Cool. Want to jump the gate and explore what's on the other side? What do you say, old sport?
It's not safe.
Oh, horse feathers! You may be the most boring man in this country. Where's your sense of adventure, old sport? Don't you want to see where these tracks go?
They lead to the old mine, and no. I've had enough adventure on this side of the fence. Besides, they wrote no trespassing for a reason.
You're such a terrible bore, teddy bear. I'll wager 1,000 clams you'll jump this gate at some point, if you believe Betty's on the other side.
Oh, I agree.
Frederick Fretland. Who are these traitors he refers to?
What now? We've looked everywhere.
There really doesn't seem to be anyone around.
Maybe we missed something. An important clue. How about the general store? We haven't been inside yet.
It looked deserted, but worth another look, I guess.
We couldn't get inside though, right? Oh, if we go back now and it's changed, that would be really scary. I wouldn't like that one bit. There's a general store, but I want to go this way just to see if, did we take this way before? Yeah, okay. Sure. Oh? What's that bird doing? That crow. You want some food or? What do you want?
Is that? Lissie, come
Oh
here.
God,
It's
seriously?
Betty's hat. She was here. She could still be in there. Betty? Betty!
Are you sure, Edward? I mean, it's just a hat. Is it even a hat? I'm
I
not
know
sure.
my sister's hat, Lissie. I have to get inside.
What about the breaking and entering part?
I could care less what they call it.
Oh, it really was Betty's hat. I thought I recognized it. And the placement was a little bit too strategic, huh? Okay. Hey, there's the attic. Is that an attic there? So we can't open it like this, but what about this side? Usually that's not how you open windows. I'm not sure if this is gonna help. Well, this ain't it. I can't climb up the ladder either.
Are you here, Lissie?
Yes?
I need to get inside. If Betty's in there.
Perhaps there's a back door. Or an open window.
There we go.
Here's an open window.
You seem eager to break the law. I approve.
It's gonna break.
It won't budge.
Nah, don't be a milquetoast.
Well, it's stuck.
Attaboy, Teddy. You can do this.
It's so frosted.
I can't believe I'm actually breaking. Whoops, Daisy.
Oh,
Oh my, Teddy. You're such a sap.
what's going on the ceiling? Get up, Edward. Okay. Whoa, whoa.
Edward Charles Harden. Dilettante. World traveler. Cat burglar.
A cat burglar would, by definition, enter a building on a higher
Jeez.
floor.
The state of this place.
Oh, Betty.
Edward,
I hope you weren't here when.
is this blood?
Not necessarily human blood.
Well, that's all right then. What does it say? Barn murder? Someone murdered a barn?
Barn means child. And mortar, that's.
Child murderer. Edward, they murdered a child?
Someone thought so.
Probably the same someone who vandalized the store.
I'm not sure how I feel about being in here.
Don't be ridiculous. We're all alone. What else do you suggest we do?
It's all broken. Oh, I guess these are just pans and pots. Kinda scared me when they made me look into it a little bit. Hey, do we want to rob the place? That is an option. Now we can go out. Yeah? Just in case, if we ever need an escape route.
It really did a number on this place.
Why would they do this to one of their own?
Anger and fear trump civility.
The other side.
Damnation. The hat's in here.
Calm down, old boy. Anyway, how's a hat going to help us?
Who knows what else is in here? There could be more clues.
All right. Okay. Everything's Jake. We made it into the store. I'm sure we'll find a way through that door.
There was a letter next to the hat.
The key must be here.
You know, you're better at finding things than me, Teddy Bear.
Oh, this is a different room. I don't know what that means.
Out of order.
Why hasn't it been fixed?
Perhaps there wasn't much demand for it anymore.
I thought that said something ominous and scary.
SOS.
What? Did someone do SOS here?
Oh boy. If only this thing worked. We could order a boat to come get us. Or, even better, order some hot grub.
What kind of route is this? Unsent mail. All stamped and addressed but stuck in perpetual limbo.
These were never sent.
How long have they been piling up?
I received Mrs. Fretland's letter in June, and they received my letter from July.
A couple of months. Perhaps the world forgot about Graavik.
Oh god. To Simon from Ruth. Simon gave Ruth a book, and Ruth gave Simon a drawing in return. Child murder. Simon is young, but not young enough to be called a child, right? Ruth would probably fit that category.
What are you doing?
Looking for keys.
Your life of crime continues.
There's a note.
Is it written in Viking runes? What does it say?
It's from Simon.
Casa?
Casa. I don't know what that word means.
I could look it up, but let's not. Let's just live with this.
Yai put it means I put. Nurkel is key.
He put the key in the casa?
Casa. I wish I had my dictionary. The note's addressed to his father.
So the key was moved. But where to?
Somewhere safer. Or more convenient.
Can we really trust your translations? You only started studying a month ago.
I spent the summer reading, and I had a lot of free time on the ocean voyage.
Come on, how much could you possibly pick up in a few months?
You know my mind, it's a sponge.
Casa. What could casa be? Casa, if it's Spanish. Oh!
Casa.
So that's what it means. Cash register.
I was gonna say house in Spanish.
You're a genuine gangster now, old fruit. Don't worry. If you get busted, I'll come visit you in the big house. The Vandals weren't here for the money.
I think money was the last thing on their minds.
This is definitely fueled by revenge and, like, feeling betrayed.
Wasn't there supposed to be a key?
Here it is.
Traitors. Betrayal. Child murdering. Oh boy. As long as we don't see any dead bodies, we're still good.
Lissie? Nothing.
Bingo.
It is her hat.
Teddy, I'm not
Betty
sure
was
that's...
here. And not long ago.
Okay, but if that is her hat, what's it doing in a locked storeroom?
Another breadcrumb.
That's not an answer.
I know for sure she was here. That's what matters.
You know best, Edward. So, what now? If this is a breadcrumb, where's the next one?
There must be a reason her hat's in this room.
What's that?
A handwritten note.
I'm not blind. What does it say, you silly goose?
It's hard to read. I'm not sure my translation will be... Johann, you... Nectar. Refuse. You refuse to speak to me, so I write this letter instead. It's from Frederick Fretland to his brother. Simon did not... Bloody hell. Simon did not murder your Ruth.
Oh god.
He was fond of his cousin.
Ruth. Ruth is the daughter of Anna and Johann, which means the little girl in the photograph at the farmhouse. Oh, Edward. The Fretland girl was murdered. This is simply awful.
Simon was working at the farm while I tended to the store. I would have seen him had he passed on the way up to the cliffs.
They thought Simon killed Ruth. His own cousin.
Ruth was... what's that word? Playing. Ruth was always playing on the rocks below the church. She must have fallen by accident. The note ends there. Frederick never finished it. And Johann never read it. Not that it would have made a difference. If Johann thought...
The mob showed up for Simon. His father would have tried to protect him.
September 17th. You would have been here, Betty.
Rocks below the church. Isn't the church right above us? Edward, come look at this. That's the cliff. Right there. The one in the note? I bet you 1,000,000 clams.
Where?
See for yourself.
I guess that could be where...
Let's check it out.
No, Lissie, wait.
What? I don't really see anything particularly special here. But why was Betty's hat on top of that? Did she find something out that she shouldn't have? Traitor. Murderer. They got angry about Simon, so that's why they burned what Simon gave to Ruth for Christmas. How'd you get up there?
I found it, Teddy. The cliff. I'm standing right below it.
What are you doing? This doesn't concern
A
us.
little girl died. We're staying in her home, for God's sake. Are you completely without heart? Get yourself up here, Edward Harden, right this minute.
There we go.
Come on, it's an easy climb.
This looks very dangerous.
Oh, you're a big boy. Start acting like it. It's not Mount Everest.
I don't know about this.
Let's go.
Whoops-a-daisy.
Sometimes their language feels very olden, which makes sense, because it is.
What is this?
Where little Ruth died.
You're being morbid. And this is a distraction. I'm here for Betty, not because some girl
Edward.
got herself...
You insensitive brute. You're like the Tin Woodman, no heart. You know, you've grown cold and mean in that horrid study of yours, with only books and bugs to keep you company for years and years and years. There are other people in this world, you know. It's not all about you. You're going to do this. If not for Ruth, then for us. We're going to figure out what happened to the poor girl. Together.
Well, chances are it's related to my sister. Yeah. So even if not because we want to be righteous, then for that.
Is that blood?
The girl could have hit her head on that rock. There would have been plenty of blood.
That's awful. I think there's something behind it. Can you move the rock aside?
That's been here a while.
Didn't you say it happened over a month ago?
You'd think her family would have replaced it with fresh flowers.
They're gone. For some reason. A doll? A headless
It
doll.
must be Ruth's.
Where's the head?
Maybe the killer also decapitates dolls.
Hold on. This pin.
Oh, the
This is
logo.
old. Very old. Looks like something from the Viking era.
We are in the land of Vikings.
This could be 1,000 years old. It does not belong in a child's doll.
Who cares? Ruth is dead and you're obsessing about a rusty old pin? Let's go further up. Maybe we'll find more clues. Come on, old sport. It's not far.
Can you wait just 1 minute so that I can catch my breath? Huh. Did you follow the same path, Betty? Or am I just stumbling through darkness?
There's blood here, too. Oh my god. Lissie, you scared me. I'm out of breath already.
You can see clear beyond the edge of the world.
One
Oh,
second.
teddy bear. We need to take you out walking more often.
So, the girl fell from up here.
Was pushed, you mean?
We don't know that.
Can you see where she fell? Seeing as you're so concerned about me falling out of trees, I wouldn't want to risk falling off a cliff.
Don't scare me. The stones would be the likely terminating point of a fall.
If she fell headfirst on that rock, she'd have died instantly.
Edward, honestly.
You wanted to learn more. This is you learning more. She hit her head and fell into the bush where I found her doll. Happy now, Alice?
I'm not. What was she doing up here in the first place?
Playing? She was a child. Children play in dangerous places.
There must be more to it. Let's find out where this path leads.
No, absolutely not.
Not our
I don't
choice.
have time for this nonsense. We're running out of daylight, and Betty's still... You're still out there.
Did you expect to find her in one day and get out of here, though?
Lissie, slow down. I can't keep up with you. Who knows what's up there? It's not worth the risk of falling and breaking something. Lissie? Are you there?
What?
Teddy,
Oh my god.
Look away, Lissie.
is this what happened to the villagers? They killed themselves?
It's one body. Let's not jump to conclusions.
What about those fresh graves at the church? There were at least half a dozen of them. Did everyone just die?
They're not necessarily connected.
Oh, come on. This is just ghastly. What made him do this? How long has he been...
From the state of the body, perhaps a couple of weeks. It depends on temperature and humidity, of course.
Oh dear.
What does that say?
God forgive me.
Don't suicides go to hell? Isn't that what your father said when
Stop.
your mother drowned
Don't.
herself?
Ooh.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was a bit... drowning, huh? We're right next to the water, too.
Who was he? One of the Fretlanders?
It's not Johann or Frederick. And he's too old to be Simon.
Do you think this has something to do with Ruth? Maybe she came across the hanged man before she died, and it scared her. So she ran, and...
This happened later.
There's some consolation in that, I guess. Maybe it's the killer. The guilt ate him up, and he offed himself.
That's just speculation with no basis in fact. There's nothing more to do here. I'm going back. Let the poor soul rest in peace.
Does it look like he's resting in peace?
What do you want to do?
You're just going to leave him hanging? You're an insensitive brute.
I'm here for Betty. It's tragic, but really none of my concern.
Betty, always just Betty. You don't care about anyone else. What if that was me up there? Would you care then? All you do is obsess over a scarf and a hat and ugh.
It's all I have of Betty.
Betty, there she is again. Edward, the hanged man, he's someone. No matter what he did or didn't do, he deserves respect. Would you please just do this one decent deed? If not for me, then for yourself. Or for your Betty.
I don't really want to touch...
I'll have to dig a grave.
You want to go that far?
What are you doing? You can't just pull him down by his legs. Try loosening the noose.
I can't reach that far.
Now you can. If we saw all those graves, but they were buried by somebody, does that mean that this is the last person? This is the person who did everybody else's graves, and then they off themselves? Oh, that's a really, really morbid thought. Ugh.
I'm going to be sick. I can't do this.
Yes, you can. Teddy. Edward. I know you can. You've been through much worse. Where are the Fretlands, Edward?
It's been 2 days. If they're not back tonight...
They're not coming back.
Perhaps they left after their daughter died.
Was murdered, you mean? Isn't that what we think happened?
Wet blanket answer?
Penny for your thoughts?
She was probably murdered.
And you think Simon did it?
Your guess is as good as mine. It could have been an accident.
You're really not helping.
Can we talk about this tomorrow? I'm sorry.
You're exhausted.
I buried a corpse today, Alice.
I know. I'm sorry. Why don't you sleep in the guest bedroom?
The couch is fine. The Fretlands could still come home.
All right. Just don't come crying to me if you wake up with a crick in your neck. I'll be up for a while, if you feel like talking.
I do feel like talking.
I really thought I'd find Betty today.
Well, I told you not to get your hopes up, Edward. I mean, we just got here. It's a big place. She could be anywhere.
It's just the thought of her alone out there. In the dark.
She's a tough cookie. Your Betty. Tougher than you, teddy bear.
That she is.
We're in the kitchen. We haven't been here before.
What did you find?
Someone tried to burn this.
Just like the book. Isn't that odd?
It's addressed to Mrs. Fretland. My dearest Anna. It's from her sister, Margaret. Frederick's wife. The two brothers married sisters, remember?
Yes, and it's adorable. Keep reading.
I really shouldn't.
Really? else are we going to figure out what happened? Keep reading.
It's from years
My
ago.
dearest Anna, I miss you so very, very much. The baby is due soon, and I wish for our family to reunite before... It's been 7 years since the dreadful incident at the mine. Can we not convince Frederick and Johann to forgive and forget? I know there are things Frederick has not told me about what they found and why they parted ways. Their grudge is tearing us all apart. Frederick won't even let me speak to half of our neighbors, accusing them of treason. He's so very angry and full of regrets. It's eating him up. And we...
And we what?
The rest is unreadable.
Margaret reached out to her sister, but I guess it didn't work.
This was written before Simon was born, but burned recently.
How do we know it's burned recently? I mean, that's logical to think that, but I don't think it's a given. So they already had some grudges going on before, which is probably what led to the distrust between the two brothers, and why Johann thinks his brother killed Ruth.
I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit. I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit.
Guess you don't want to talk. I thought you were up for talking and all.
I feel restless.
Yeah.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit.
Lissie, did you want to have a look upstairs together? There was like a diary that we didn't get to read because we weren't supposed to read it yet. Yeah. August 3rd, 1923. This morning, I had lemon juice and hot water with no sugar instead of tea. I also had half an apple and dry toast. I've been gaining weight lately. I read about this diet in the paper. It's apparently very popular in London. But I'm dreadfully hungry and crave fried eggs and sausages. August 4th. We received an odd letter yesterday, addressed to Johann. It's from an American gentleman, Mr. Edward Harden of Hanover, Massachusetts. The letter was well written and very polite. Mr. Harden received our information from the Unsent police when he requested a contact in Graavik. I do wonder why they gave him Johann's name and not Frederick's. Perhaps because our dear Margaret is no longer with us, and I'm better prepared to respond in English than Frederick. Mr. Harden inquired about his sister, Elizabeth Harden, who's traveling on her own. Apparently, she's a journalist. Imagine that, crossing the Atlantic Ocean to write about Norway. It sounds wonderful. The letter said Elizabeth telegraphed her brother from Aalesund to inform him that she planned to visit Graavik. Why'd she want to come to this dreary old place, I have no idea. There is nothing here worth writing about anymore. His sister has not arrived yet. If she had, I would have tired her out with questions about America, being a journalist and traveling the world on her own. She sounds so interesting. I hope she does come, even though she will surely be bored out of her mind. I'll write Mr. Harden today. Johann is not comfortable writing letters, especially in English. He agrees that we should invite Mr. Harden to stay here, if he decides to come. After all, there are no guest houses in Graavik, and our spare room is rarely used. Also, I have to admit, having a visitor from America sounds terribly exciting. August 5th. This morning I had a boiled egg and buttered toast, after Johann told me I was being silly, and that I do not need to lose any weight, seeing as we're not in London and no one cares. Oh, there's more. There's a lot more. August 8th still. I wrote Mr. Harden to invite him to stay at the house if he decides to come. I am terribly excited. I do worry for his sister. I wonder where she could be. They sound like really nice people. August 9th. There was an argument in the shop earlier today. Frederick was yelling at poor Astrid, claiming their goats had been grazing on his land. I wanted to speak up, but knew it'd only make him angrier. August 10th. Johan went across the fjord this morning to purchase some necessities, including new fabrics, and to pick up the post. The letters have been piling up in the store. I sometimes worry the world has completely forgotten about us. 17th. I finished another dress today. This one is for myself. There are no customers anymore. No one here needs another dress, and it's been ages since we visited the city. I hardly know anyone there, and who would want their dresses made in Graavik when they can have one tailored in Unsent? I feel lonely today. I miss my dear Margaret so much, after all these years. Yeah, they've been separated because of the arguments between the brothers. 20th. I think Ruth is hiding something from me. She's been awfully secretive. She goes off on her own even more than usual, and her clothes are filthy. Maybe she's playing with Simon? I don't mind her playing and exploring, of course. I always did regret Margaret and I not being allowed to run free when we were little. Ruth says she's just looking for flowers and pretty rocks. I shouldn't worry so much. 21st. Simon stopped by today with a gift for Ruth, a whole bar of chocolate. He is a sweet boy, but Frederick would be furious if he knew. 22nd. I asked Ruth if she plays up by Frederick's farm or near the old mine. She promised she doesn't. I've never had reason to not trust her, but I still feel she's hiding something from me. I looked at her drawings while she was out. She's got such an imagination. September 5th. We received another letter from Mr. Harden. He'll be here in October as planned. I look forward to having someone else to speak with, if only for a few days. Not that Johan isn't good company, but we have little to converse about outside of our daily routines. There has been no sign of Mr. Harden's sister yet. If she left Allison weeks ago, where could she be? She may as well have decided to stop along the way. We've heard nothing, but we so rarely speak with anyone outside Graavik these days. I do hope she's all right. I would hate for Mr. Harden to come all this way to no avail. Ruth is still being secretive. I know she's hiding something. One of these days, I will follow her. September 9. No church service again today. The vicar hasn't been back since the memorial service in July. Johan believes he won't be back, and that he has given up on Graavik, like everyone else. Okay, so people were still here in September. Yeah. I think I'm coming down with a cold. September 15. Someone damaged our boat during the night. That's the third one this month. Johan suspects Frederick, of course. I fear something is bubbling to the surface again, after all these years. Boats. I'm not at all feeling well, and spent most of yesterday and today in bed. Ruth was sweet, and brought me potato soup and tea with honey and milk. September 18. She has left us. Our dearest Ruth is gone. I cannot believe it was Simon's doing. He too is now gone. And with him, all hope Graavik had left in it. Wait, what kind of gone is Simon? Dead gone or left Graavik kind of gone? So we know Ruth passed away between 15th and the 18th. Oh. And then they never wrote again. Lissie?
Lissie!
I'm over here.
You sure you don't want to come, discuss this? Well, we've already played this. Yeah. It's fine. Old piano. Even the keys are kind of rubbed off. Oh, I didn't see this previously, but it says Ruth right here. I don't know if I want to come in here again. Now. Because we know she's passed away. Yeah, that must be the arguments. That's Simon. That's her. And the twin brother is arguing. Is that a coffin? Ruth looking at a coffin? Right, and here, that was a church picture. Seemed pretty normal, though. That creepy doll. But overall, let's go to sleep. It's late at night and I don't really wanna... I feel a little bit uneasy looking around. Where are you gonna sleep, Lissie?
I feel restless.
You should sleep.
I'm not sure I can. But yes, I'll try. In a bit.
Do you think Simon killed Ruth?
It's not important what I think.
I don't know what to believe. Sometimes children do monstrous things.
But he gave her gifts and stuff. I want to believe he didn't, but what if he actually did?
Now that we know what happened to Ruth, this empty house is even spookier.
It's a house, nothing more.
You know better than most that souls can linger. Especially if they died
There's
in...
no such thing as a soul.
Life force. Ghost. Whatever. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
The only ghosts are in our minds.
Says you. Now that we know what happened to Ruth,
wrong one.
This empty house is even spookier.
It's a house, nothing more.
You know better than most that souls can linger. Especially if they died
There's
in...
no such thing as a soul.
Life force. Ghost. Whatever. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
The only ghosts are in our minds.
Says you. It's almost painful to look at this photograph now. Their whole world fell apart. Ugh, I can't bear to think about it.
Me neither. And I don't want to. Same old. Did you at least take out the book that was here? And put it somewhere else? I sure hope so. Lord. Oh, I don't know why this section is suddenly getting a little bit choppier.
What are you doing?
Betty will want these back.
I don't think it's
Not
healthy
now, please. I'm exhausted.
This guy seems a little obsessed.
You do look exhausted. Go to bed, Edward. I'll tuck you in.
But where are you sleeping? I feel like the whole time we've been here, Lissie hasn't directly interacted with a single thing. Aww.
Quite the day, huh?
I'm ready to pass out. Where will you sleep?
I'll be up for a while. My mind's simply racing.
Don't stay up late. Wake me if you hear the Fretlands arriving.
Of course. And I'll keep my eyes open for any ghosts that might want to haunt you in your sleep.
There are no...
Hush now. Sleep.
Foran